Hello everybody, this is Johns Hopkins with Baltimore Heritage, and we're back with another of our 5-Minute Histories videos. And today I'm in Fells Point on Broadway, and behind me is Broadway Market, the north shed of the Broadway Market to be specific. It is the oldest market in the city's market system, dates to 1786 on land given by the Fell family. That of course gave us the name Fells Point as well. The market system has 6 markets in it, in addition to Broadway Market. There's Cross Street Market and Hollands Market, Northeast Market, Pennsylvania Avenue Market, and we can't forget Lexington Market, which we'll do a video on at some point. But today we're going to talk about Broadway Market. Before we jump in, let me just say, if you're following along real time, you may have gotten an email from us recently. We just announced our spring walking tour schedule with tours all over the place. But let me just give a plug for one on Sunday mornings from April through Thanksgiving. Pretty much every Sunday mornings are Monumental City tours. We go to Federal Hill, Ridgely's Delight, Mount Vernon, and a tour downtown of the 1904 fire. So if you're looking for something to do on Sunday mornings, check us out. All right, jumping into Broadway Market, the building behind me dates to 1864, right around the time of the Civil War. It looks a little different today, mainly because it no longer has a second story. That second story was removed in the 1960s, ironically, to make the building more fireproof. I say ironically because about 5 years after it was removed, the building caught on fire, so it didn't serve its purpose. Before the 1860s, Broadway Market was a series of wooden sheds. There were wooden stalls for vendors. There were wooden barns for livestock. There was a weighing station for farmers who brought their cows and pigs and whatnot to the market to be sold. The market is right on the water. We are right on the water here, and many of the merchants got their stuff by boat, bringing in the bounty of the Chesapeake Bay, crabs and oysters and rockfish, and bringing over the bounty of the Eastern Shore, tomatoes and corn and melons and beans. In fact, many of the merchants who arrived by boat stayed on their boat and sold right from the boat, or maybe rickety little wooden sort of boxes set up on the pier. But even those had official market licenses. If you were one of the 100 or so vendors here, you had to have your official market license and stall number. There were certainly fruit and vegetables and meat sold here, but that was not the only thing sold here. One other thing that was sold here were human beings, men and women. Baltimore was a hub in the domestic slave trade from about the early 1800s to the Civil War. With the invention of the cotton gin, the production of cotton in the South skyrocketed, and there was an increased demand for labor. Baltimore sold black Baltimoreans, black Marylanders, black Americans, putting them on ships here from Broadway Market to places like Savannah and New Orleans to fill that demand for labor. One of the people we know who sold human beings here was a person named Nicholas Strike. He was an auctioneer who in the local papers would advertise auctions here at Broadway Market for everything from household goods to human beings. If you're interested in learning more about Baltimore's slave trade and specifically the sites where people were bought and sold, a volunteer of ours, Richard Messick, has done a lot of research and put it online in an interactive map. We'll put a link to our website. You can also get it downloaded on your smartphone. In addition to commerce, we're going to move on. In addition to commerce, the market has always been a public gathering place, certainly informally as shoppers bumped into each other. But let me mention one more serious time, and that was in the War of 1812. People gathered here on a regular basis speculating whether George Cockburn, the admiral, the dreaded British admiral who was burning and pillaging towns along the Eastern Shore, would come here. They watched him sail past several times, taking soundings, measuring the depth of the Patapsco River, although he never landed. As a gathering place, Broadway Market was also part of East Baltimore's great melting pot. And let me read to you a little quote from an article from the 1928 Baltimore Sun. This is what they have to say. Broadway Market is the melting pot and Saturday go-to-meeting place for East Baltimore's representatives of the world's nationalities. It is the weekend gathering place of the mothers and daughters of foreign lands, a great number of whom neither speak nor understand a word of English. It goes on to say that among the languages commonly heard here by youngsters and old folks alike, Italian, Greek, Polish, and Spanish. The article ends by saying, and I'll quote again, "The various nationalities do not keep to themselves in Broadway Market, but merge together, pick up a bit of each man's language, and in the melting pot become one." So Broadway Market certainly for 100 years or likely 200 years has been serving that function. If people heralded from all over the world who were shoppers and merchants here, they also arrived on market days from all over the region. Certainly many walked, some took the number 10 streetcar that ran down Broadway, and others jumped on the Locust Point ferry that shuttled between Broadway here, the foot of Broadway, and over to Locust Point. And always there have been more than just merchants at the market. Let me read to you another short quote from a 1925 local newspaper about a fortune teller named Madame Celeste. And here's what the article says. That says that Madame Celeste can, quote, tell you how much money you have in your pocket, the number on your watch case, your wife's first name, and the number of children you have. Although the article goes on to point out that there were a number of skeptics always in the crowd when she was doing her fortune telling. If the market has had interesting things going on, it has also always had early things going on. One errand boy from the 1940s reported that on the big market days of Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, he had to report to work at 4 a.m. at his butcher stall. Today, the market doesn't open quite at 4 a.m. The vendors get here at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock on the weekends, but they do work until 10 p.m., which is much later than the original market folks did. Over the years, the market's had several different renovations, certainly in the 1960s after the fire. For a while, I think in the 1980s, maybe 90s, it was privately managed by John Paterakis, the bakery magnate that's here in East Baltimore. But today, it is back in public hands. We, the citizens of Baltimore, through the Markets Authority, operate it. And it just had another fabulous restoration. I'm going to conclude by saying if you've ever been on one of Baltimore Heritage's behind-the-scenes tours that had wine and cheese, and you sampled from the little sample platter of Polish sausages that we often have, those came from a place here. Sophia Pera has run her deli here at Broadway Market for 35 years. That's where we get our sausages. So the next time you are down here, I encourage you to stop, get out of your car, come check out the renovated market, and maybe have a sandwich or take home some Polish sausage or homemade sauerkraut. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.